Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Truth Brigade with Tommy Truthful and Honey C. Golden. Make sure you smash that like button, share this video, and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and hit all notifications. Today we're going to be getting into the moon, reincarnation, Lilith, and some astrological alignments for this year. And then I'm going to touch on some stuff on the year of the horse and what we're coming into in 2026. And we got a special guest with us today, Dr. Kelley. It's one of Honey's friends, so I'm really excited about this podcast. How are you two ladies doing?
Good. We're good. Welcome, Kelly. We're really excited to have this chat today.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, so fun. Yep, let's dance with the stars.
Dancing with the stars. That's what I like doing. So how I found you, Kelly, I was over there searching Honey's site, and like I told you before we came on air, I seen this link that took me to a podcast yours from 2023, and it just so happened that you were talking about Lilith, the moon, and Mercury retrograde, and right now we're in Mercury retrograde. So I reached out to Honey. I'm like, man, could we get her on before Mercury retrograde ends? And here you are. So
Yeah,
what
and
do you
that's
got
really
for
appropriate that you found an older podcast, You went back like Mercury retrograde does and listened to something that was a little bit old, and we're bringing it up today.
Yes. What are your feelings for Mercury retrograde and some of the topics you want to talk about? And first, before we get into that, how did you get into astrology and stuff?
Well, it goes back a ways. So it was 1967, and I had just finished my first year of college, and I went home. And my sister had all these new friends, and one of them could guess people's signs that she'd never met before. And I thought that was really fascinating. And then we took a little trip to Boston, and there was the Sphinx bookstore. And there was a poster with advertising a free correspondence course through the Rosicrucian Fellowship. So I started taking that course and learned how to do charts, which took a lot of books, a lot of math before computers. So I got into it and I never stopped. I loved it. It felt really so my thing.
Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah, I mean, numerology, astrology, it's a huge part of my life too. Now, my audience would be yelling at me if I didn't ask you, did you just say the Rosicrucian?
Yes.
So what was are
Yes,
you
they
are you personally a member of the Rosicrucian, the Rosy Cross
no,
as they call it?
no, they just no, they just had this free correspondence course. And I did visit the Rosicrucian fellow, and I mean, yeah, their place in California, Northern California at one point, but I'm not a member, no. And I had some arguments even as a beginning student with some of their material. So I didn't stay with them for too long in any case. And one thing that really got me about the astrology is I could feel through the astrology how we're connected to something bigger than ourselves, to the sky, to the stars, to the universe, and the whole cosmos. I love that feeling that we're connected, that we're seen by the universe, in our special way through our own kind of cosmic blueprint, as I call your birth chart.
Yeah, it is. It is really cool. There's people out there that think all space is fake, and there's a lot of weird theories out there when it comes to astrology, but I'm definitely not one of them people. My personal opinion, I think we live in some type of simulated reality, and I think the moon maybe plays a big role in that whole reincarnation cycle, that loop we're in. But Yeah, the Rosicrucian, I've looked
Mhm.
into it deeply. I like the alchemical connections to them and the alchemy part of which people don't even realize about with the Rosicrucian. Because though they hear secret societies, they think everything's evil or bad. Just like with the
Well,
Freemasons.
some of them got into astrology anyway. You know, they can use that as a dark art too. So,
Oh yeah,
yeah, I think the moon. You're right. It's the most personal factor in the chart, because and it moves the fastest. It's like the second hand that goes around the Earth and moves really fast. It has the fastest movement, so it's very moody in a way, and is definitely gives us our kind of daily flow. And I really agree with you, Tommy, that it has a lot to do with reincarnation. And that's so the moon's orbit around the Earth is a bit variable if the moon is closer or farther or whatever. So it's not just a regular circle. And in fact, orbits aren't circular, they're elliptical. So a
right.
circle has one center, and an ellipse has two mathematical focal points that make that trajectory. And um, so one of the center points is the Earth, and the other center point is called the Black Moon, which some people call Lilith. So
Yes.
there's that. And then there are also what we call the moon's nodes, where the moon crosses the path of the sun, either going northward or southward on the other side. So they're always opposite each other. And they're so important that they were actually given images in, say, like Arabic astrology and Vedic astrology. And they're known in Vedic astrology as the dragon head and the dragon tail. And it's like your line of destiny. And it's really significant because these points show where eclipses are happening, where there's this, periodic alignment of Earth, Moon, Sun, or Sun, Moon, Earth, depending on, kind of what kind of eclipse it is. So it's the nodes of the moon are connected to the moon, and do show, especially the dragon tail, is what you bring in with you from past lives. You've been there, you bring that energy in, but you need to bring it to the north node for what you're here to do this lifetime. And a lot in Western astrology, the north node is considered positive, and the south node is considered negative, like you're leaving that. But it's not like that, because they're intimately connected. You can't have one without the other. And I sort of think like you're pushing off from the south node and going to the north node, but you're always referring to the south node. But you don't want to stay there. You're just going to spin in circles. You're going to loop around and not get anywhere. You need to be, riding the dragon on the head, not the tail. And so it can, wherever that is in your chart, is going to give you a lot of clues as to past lives, and that's related to the moon. So moon also holds a lot of patterns from your ancestry. The moon is sort of like the womb of the mother that gives you birth. And so
Right.
there's the ancestry in there. And then the nodes of the moon are one of the most fascinating aspects of astrology, actually, connected to eclipses. And they have their cycles of eclipses, and they belong to different families. So they're different. There's a wonderful astrologer in Serbia, Alexander Msaragic, who has done a wonderful book on the dragons, the dragon families of the eclipses, based on the eclipse before you were born. So it's so interesting, and it can go a really long way in helping you understand some deeper currents in yourself that the moon itself is sort of like your automatic early childhood programming, and it's so deeply embedded that it can be hard to grow out of it. So some of these places that are like subconscious operating system is denoted by the moon. So I'm talking back and forth about the moon itself and then the nodes of the moon. So fascinating part to that.
It definitely is.
What are your thoughts?
Well, the moon, it's that feminine energy, right? That intuitive energy. I always think of like the moon and the sun.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. In
Okay,
Vedic
break it down
astrology,
for me.
it's the man in the moon.
In Vedic.
The man in the moon. The moon in Vedic astrology, there's the man in the moon, and the moon is male. And so it was it in older Sumerian mythology as well. So in Vedic astrology, the man in the moon visits a different one of his wives each night through the lunar cycle. So we don't want to get too stuck on gender definition of the moon.
Right. I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you look into an esoteric standpoint of it, it represents the mother matrix, Isis, and then that female energy as far as modern day, and then the sun is your male energy, the father, the spirit, Ra, the sun god. I mean, I think they inverted a lot of reality, so probably a lot of things that are
Well,
supposed to be.
well, yeah,
What
there
was you
were sun
saying?
goddesses way back when. There were sun goddesses way back when. In a lot of
Yeah,
very
because
older cultures, there were sun goddesses. And then we had, so that kind of got me out of identifying them in the modern psychological way with that masculine feminine definition, because I kind of look for what is the feminine aspect and the masculine aspect of anything, including Venus, or and because I think there is in each of us that that yin yang polarity, and that would include all of the celestial energies.
I agree with you 100%. I just did a video today. It's like a 9-minute video, and I broke down this image in it, and what it really means, and that people get stuck in one of these polarities, either the left or right, and the real key is being balanced and walking down the center.
Mm,
So
yeah.
I broke that down in this video. It's doing really well right now. But yeah, that if you look into like why the red and blue, for example, you got Democrat, Republicans, that they use the same system, right? The even gangs, Crips, Bloods, it comes from the pillars of Solomon, Jacob and Boaz, and that's the red and the blue. The blue is usually in modern day tied to the mother matrix and Isis, and the red is the masculine energy, which is tied to that father spirit, the male. But I think it has been inverted, and I've seen what you're talking about in some ancient times where they actually did have it vice versa. You know what I mean? With the
Yes, but not to say that the interpretation that has been more you know used lately with the sun being the masculine and moon being the feminine, that has validity as well, if you're using a system that works with that. Like psychology does a lot of that. Carl Jung used that sun moon energy quite a bit.
He's my
So
hero.
you have to use it within the context. Oh, Jung was
I
a
love
real big
Yeah,
influence for me.
me too. I mean, I love him. A lot of my work, a lot of my writing, I'm inspired by him so much. And then when I mention him to people, a lot of people don't know who he is, Kelley. It's sad, because he put so much amazing work out there. But yeah, big part of my life. So what do you think about all this, honey? What's your intuition tell you about the moon? Because I know a lot of people think it's like, some people think it's a negative thing. Other people think it's a positive. I know it definitely has an effect on the human body, considering where they say between 70 to 72% water, and it pulls on the tide. So it would definitely play a role on the human body. Do you look at it as something that has us stuck in a reincarnation loop?
No, I don't see it that way. I see the moon in a pretty different way than most people. So, as far as astrology goes, I see that as the map to the energetics that we're reading. So, when Kelley's doing all of the reading about astrology, and when she's digging in, I'm, seeing the energies of it. But with the moon, I get that the moon was put up. So it's a creation, it's made of plasma, it's a luminary, and it's actually used to help with that cycle. But the cycle is really the earth. So the moon is reflecting Earth's cycles, and all those tides are actually affected by the movement of the earth. The moon is just like a woman's cycle.
Right.
The moon is reflecting those cycles, and I get that it was put up when they wanted to go into patriarchy versus matriarchy. So yeah, basically it's like, let's take the attention away from Earth and let's put women looking at the moon and worshiping the moon instead. So it also is a stop off point for ETs, and it's local. So those are the things that I get about the moon in general. There was a reincarnation wheel. So I received that there was a reincarnation wheel, and that was put in probably after the moon. And it did keep people stuck. Mostly the human soul, the human part of us, would get stuck because it would think it was going into the light and would get shot right back out, back into this reality. So it was like a jailer kind of. But that was taken down in 2021. So that's already gone.
Interesting. That's very fascinating. Yeah, we all have our own theories on what we think the moon is. Kelley, what is your theory? What role the moon plays in reincarnation?
Well, when I do charts, I use the moon as a reflector of the time the child is in the womb of the mother, and reflecting the womb of the mother and what is passed through her of the ancestry. And then also the early, and this goes back to a psychological theory, object relations theory, where your first days in life, your early impressions, how people are treating you, are you taken care of or not, all of that is impressed as your first impressions of life. And so my astrological interpretation of the moon includes those impressions and how they are like deeply impressed, on the personality, and the personality grows out of that. Or we could say the ego grows out of that, and that it's not your true self, that the black moon is non-physical. And well, so is the moon is non-physical. I definitely go for the plasma luminary, definition. which can also channel a lot of information from the, I don't want to call it matrix, but I want to call it the field. And
Right.
that the black moon is very intimately connected to the moon Earth orbit. And in fact, especially the nodes of the moon, which do have that line of destiny feeling. But the black moon is not physical. So I came to think about it as like the soul's desire to embody. And some esoteric traditions say, you know, we can make a lot more progress in this dense realm for spiritual, you know, enlightenment if we put that effort in. So there's that, but that the black moon Lilith also has a pretty bad reputation. And you know, she was supposedly the serpent-headed woman, right? That woman-headed serpent who gave Eve the apple in the Garden of Eden. Like, was that bad or was that good? You know, I mean, we have to drop all judgment here because it is as it is. And so the black moon is connected to the soul history. And I've come to think of it as the soul spark that the Divine Mother puts in our field through every lifetime, so that it holds a lot of our history, but that can be healed through spiritual practice or through shadow work or through different ways. And that is then a way to, number one, change our destiny or get off the karmic wheel. And I think that is more of a potential these days. And we can use the eclipses to do that.
So when is the next
timeline?
Eclipse? Oh, yeah. Sorry.
The next eclipse is February 17th. And it's a solar eclipse. It's not total. It's one of those ones where you get the ring of fire around. Those are my favorite. And nice. All eclipses are powerful. You know, even ones that like a partial lunar eclipse. I used to think, oh, they're not as powerful. Well, I had an experience that totally changed my mind about that. And so an eclipse, it's like you're watching a movie on the old-fashioned DVD, and the electricity goes off, and it goes, you know, and the DVD pops out, and then the electricity comes back on, and you pop it back in, and it's a different movie. So it's kind of like that. It can shift the energy through that dark moment of you know, what's happening in there, kind of thing. So
they're really powerful. I think there's a slight delay, and we're talking over each other here and there. But I feel like Lilith is really important because she's showing the flip side, and she's just like Mercury retrograde. Like, she's bringing up all the stuff that you didn't want to deal with.
Very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, this new moon we just on November, what was it, 20th, Lilith was really strong. Well, black moon and Lilith, I don't think Lilith's mythology totally explains the meaning of black moon. So I'm following some Vedic teachings that talk about the holy womb chakra. That is not one of the 7 we typically know about, but it's in an energy body, and that's where that divine spark is. And that is the black moon following you through every lifetime in a kind of way. So she knows you better than anybody. And she knows, she's like, you know, she'll kick you in the butt or she'll crack her whip when she needs you to pay attention and get out of your superficial, kind of 3D selfhood.
Yeah. Yeah, she's really intense and it almost feels like, isn't Pluto extremely intense too? Like, we have to remember all these
Yes.
energies are beings, and they have their own pushy agenda for what we're doing here. Yeah.
Yeah. Pluto is a planet, whereas the black moon is not.
Right.
So that's an interesting, different aspect. So there are actually 4, or you could even say 5 things in astronomy called Lilith. And one is the black moon. One is an asteroid. One is a dark shadow moon that might be another moon orbiting the Earth. Is it there or is it not there? Did it used to be there? Is it in the astral? Like, what is it? It's very mysterious, but it's very potent. And then there is a star that has been called Lilith, Algol, the demon star. So there's several, I call it like octaves of Lilith, and the black moon is maybe the most mysterious.
I apologize about that, guys. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah,
I tried to load a picture up, and then my whole thing just froze up, and my computer restarted. I'm like, whoa, what?
we
what's
missed
going
you.
on?
But we
Thank you, guys. Thank you. What I was going to ask you when you were talking about the moon, I wanted to ask both of you guys. It was a great movie, and I can't believe I never seen it before, but I seen it the other night for the first time. It was called Moonfall. Have either one of you ladies seen that movie?
Oh, yes.
So
wasn't it James Bond?
No, it's
Oh,
yeah, that one. Halle Berry is the main person that you would know. And the acting's kind of not great, but the disclosure is immense in this movie. So really good one.
In this movie, the moon is sorry guys. I just told my dad I was on a podcast too. In this movie, the moon is a mega structure. So it was built, they thought by aliens, but it was built actually by us. And so like this AI went rogue, and it was trying to find out anywhere in the galaxy that there was human life and technology existing at the same time. Let me just text him and tell him on podcast, which he knows that. So why is he messaging me? Okay, sorry, I apologize about that.
It's Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde. We'll put it up to Mercury retrograde.
Yeah, Mercury retrograde with technology. You're right. Every time, I mean, last time too, me and Honey did a podcast during Mercury retrograde. My computer went down. It was very, very fascinating. But so in this movie, if you haven't seen it, Kelly, you gotta watch it. You will love it. The moon ends up being this megastructure, and there's this podcaster kind of guy. He's like us. He believes in different narratives, and everybody laughs at him. But guess what? In the end, he ends up being right. Everything he said, except for the part he thought the moon was built by aliens, it was actually built by us. And we were very advanced in the future, and we had a perfect society. We built out a whole communities throughout the solar system, right? And we never had wars no more. But the problem was we started to merge with AI, and we let AI take over our life. And then AI one day became sentient, and it went rogue because it kind of felt like I shouldn't serve something that's inferior to me. So all the AI turned itself into nanobots, and then it started searching out anything that had electronics and organics together, any planet, and it would go in there and destroy that. And they built these big mega structures, the moons, and sent them out to find new life and seed new life. and the moon was the only one, our moon was the only one that made it, because this rogue nanobot AI destroyed all the rest of them. So our moon ended up saving our life, but it went offline for a minute, and it caused like gravity. It was so close to Earth that it caused gravity to go crazy, and everything started lifting up. It was a really fascinating movie. They actually went into the moon. It was a great movie. What'd you think about that one, honey?
I love that movie. There's more than one storyline going on in that movie. Like they are disclosing things, but not just one thing. So there's several things being disclosed. We should do a decode on that movie. I think I've done one before, but I think there's even more in there. So
Yeah, maybe in the future, me and you will.
yeah,
I just didn't know if Kelly
Kelly would love it.
Yeah, she would love it, I think.
Yeah.
I think. But okay, Kelly, back to you. I apologize for that.
Can I segue? Can I segue from that?
Yeah.
Because I think that movie, the theme of it, the human AI interface, however that is, I think it's one of the issues of Pluto that has just gone into Aquarius, which is a very technological sign and a very higher mind. And it's not a very grounded sign in general. So Pluto always, when it doesn't change sign very often. And when it does, it's going to bring up a whole new thing on transformation in the collective consciousness with potential and also a dark shadow to it. So I think the AI whole thing has, especially initially, a bit of a shadow flavor connected to it as we start to engage in it from a place in ourselves that is more sovereign, because the opposite sign to Aquarius is Leo. And to deal with the shadow of any particular sign, you want to look at the sign opposite that can help balance that out and find a good connection to it, rather than one that pulls apart and polarizes. So Leo is about personal sovereignty, being who you are, heart energy. And so this is a nice balancing sign to Aquarius that can get a little too abstract, to AI, to non-human, So it's like,
Yeah,
so that's the things.
I definitely agree with
Yeah,
you.
Pluto.
In
Go ahead.
mythology, Pluto was considered, he was the god of the underworld. And in Roman mythology, I think he was like, because you got the Greek and then the Roman aspect of it, right? Like in Greek, you got Zeus, but in Roman mythology, it's Jupiter. And then Pluto was considered, he's kind of like that archetype of Hades. But
Yeah. Yeah, and they
Pluto's return in,
dark hidden. Well, I'm sorry. We do
no,
have
you're
a
fine. I'm
delay.
sorry. Your
So
internet was just lagging a little. I didn't mean to, so I didn't want to interrupt you. But you were absolutely right about Pluto's return. Empires rise and they fall during this period, right? Um, the birth of America, 1776. That was the last time Pluto was in the location we're going through now, and that was the rise of America. And I think we're in Pluto's return until like 2043, or where it's at now.
this
It's
is
not
this
going
is so you're talking about the 248 years that Pluto goes around and comes back. And
yes.
so the Pluto return of the United States was a couple of years ago, when Pluto was at the end of Capricorn, which is so much about, corporate stuff and power struggles and hierarchy. And when it went into Aquarius is about back then when the war for independence was actually going on. So there was a lot of social unrest and the we the people, and it's like we're having another American Revolution at the moment. To take back our country in certain ways, and we're watching the fall of a lot of these structures and power, corporate power and stuff like that. And so we are really called to find our particular role or purpose, our call to being in this new social context where we're all, kind of equal on a level of being an individual. And as much as we can claim our power and our strength and our integrity, then we can wield that creative power in a more positive way and not give up our power. Pluto's where we claim our power or we give it away. So we're still transitioning into this Aquarian, Pluto in Aquarius, which does go till 2044, 43, 44, as you said. So we're in this, 20-year or so phase that is bringing us a new lesson and definitely a deep transformation of consciousness in the collective.
I think it's a good thing though for this time,
Oh,
it's definitely helping
well,
out humanity, because a lot of people did need
yeah.
to wake up. Some of these old structures needed to fall away, right?
Oh yeah. So Kelley,
Yes, and
what? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say it has to do with the higher mind. So it's about a higher level of consciousness as well.
Yeah.
So what were you going to ask?
So what are some of the things, I know you did a lot of research last night and went further into next year. What are some of the things that you're seeing that are coming energetically?
Well, we had this one planet shift, and it took a couple of years because the planets seem to go back and forth depending on, their slow cycles. We need a bit of a slow transition. So Pluto finally got into Aquarius last November 2024. And this year, 2025, the two other, what we call outer planets in astrology, and that would be Neptune.
Yes.
Pluto has a 248-year orbit. Neptune has a 165-year orbit. And the third one, Uranus, has an 84-year orbit. So that all of those are changing within a year or so of each other is pretty wild. And Neptune...
that's so awesome. You know that most people don't know about Neptune in the end of the 165-year cycle, which we're moving into. It's the last time in our lifetime. Like, most people don't even get to see that in their lifetime. You know what I mean? So that's a huge one. And then we got Saturn, which is going to join Neptune and Aries, and they conjunct. That'll be right, I think, right after January, when we finish that cycle. Am I right on that?
So Neptune went into Aries from Pisces, where it likes the sea, the god of the sea. It went into Aries toward the end of March this year, 2025. But it's gone backwards now in Pisces again. And Saturn did the same thing right after Neptune went into Aries. Saturn went into Aries, I think it was April. And it's gone back into Pisces. So they're hanging out together in this transition from Pisces to Aries, from water to fire, from merging to clarification. So that they don't, we need to purify the waters. It's like we still have a dirty windshield, and we've got to get it really clean before we can be clear enough to move into the new Aries, which is We've never been there before. It's like a totally new trail. It's like unprecedented. Are you ready to take steps forward when we've never gone on this trail before? So Neptune goes back into Aries in January. And then Saturn goes back into Aries in February. And right the same week as that eclipse I mentioned on February 17th, that same week, Saturn and Neptune align exactly for the first and only time in this cycle, although they're hanging out together for months and continuing through next year to at least through the spring. So Saturn is about, here's what we're dealing with, manifestation, let's get it done, reality check. Of course, who knows what reality is anymore, but you clarify what yours is and you live it, because Neptune's about the collective dream or the collective vision. So first you start with your vision. What do you want to manifest? How do you see things unfolding? And this is claiming our power to do so and creating it, because that vision is what we would just love to be experiencing. And if you are really clear, Saturn is like, okay, it's happening. So the February is really very interesting. Power surge there in right around the 17th.
That's awesome. Yeah, I had that on my notes too. I'm glad you touched on that. I was actually born on the 17th, January 17th of 1983. So Saturn is my ruling planet. I was born on a Monday, so I'm connected to that moon, the moon day, that intuitive energy. You got anything for me on that? My birthday?
So do you have Pluto and Scorpio? Had it gone in there yet?
Pluto and Scorpio?
I can look up. Pluto went into Scorpio in 1983.
Oh, did it?
It might. You might be on the early. You might be just at the last bit of Pluto being in. What's before Libra? So let's not go there. But that was a generational shift that you were in with Pluto changing sign. But yeah, so you're a Capricorn toward the end of Capricorn. So Pluto went across your sun sign just a couple of years ago. So you claimed your power or you gave it away. It seems to me like you claimed it. And you're doing what you do.
Yeah, sure did. And so when I went offline, you guys must have touched on the solar eclipse in Aquarius that starts when, so the year of the fire horse for everybody in the audience starts February 17th of 2026. And people always think, oh, it starts in January. No, it starts in February. It's February 27th of 2026. That's the Chinese New Year. That's the start of the fire horse. And we have the solar eclipse in Aquarius. I mean, that's going to be a magnificent month, I think. So much energy in that month. What do you think about that event? Or did you already talk about that when I was offline?
We did a little bit, yeah.
Oh, you guys did a little bit? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No. So what do you think is coming after February? Like it feels like February is volatile and then it's going to start to mellow out a little bit.
Well, the third planet in the outer collective consciousness, shift of consciousness, kind of, that was a weird way to say it. Uranus went into Gemini in July. And just for a little bit, this is all when they go in, they give us a little heads up, this is new energy coming. And then it's like, are you ready? You might think so, but no. So we got to go back and finish up some old stuff. So Uranus is back in Taurus now, saying, look, this is going to be pretty wild energy. So you better get a little more grounded, get rid of some stuff so you can move more lightly. And, you just kind of thing, because Uranus is going to go back into Gemini, I think at the end of April. I'm going to check. Yes, at the very end of April. And it's going to be in Gemini for 7 or 8 years. So this is another new energy. This is going from Earth to air, like Pluto did, went from Earth to air. So we're going to be in air and fire. For the longest time, we were in earth and water. And then, like you said, Tommy, we've got the fire horse. So gallop apace, you fiery steeds. This is fast-paced energy. And Uranus is expect the unexpected. We know we have a lot of news. We have a lot of disclosure, a lot of stuff coming out, like a lot of slimy stuff. And this could be even more. This could be more like, wow, this could be the lost history. This could be, this could be contact. Gemini is about communication, and it's about perception. So our perceptions are being altered along with our brain waves, with all this energy coming in. So we're going to be thinking differently, and it's very important to, I don't want to say rein in, but to some extent, right now anyway, energy focused, keep focused, because we can't get too distracted right now. We need to gain our intentionality and our sense of focus so we can be better manifestors.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. 100%. We got so in I seen then too another major month, it seems like, Kelley, coming up, I wanted to ask you about was March, like Venus, the sun, Mars, and Mercury all conjunct in Neptune in early Aries through March and April. And them are big months, especially in the esoteric and occult societies. Like, you got the 13 days of preparation, which begins April 20th through May 1st. So I think April 13th, Mars conjuncts with Neptune, and then April 16th, Mercury conjuncts with Neptune. But yeah, we got all that going on starting March 7th. And shout out to Richard, because he was actually born during the 13 days of preparation period. So that'll be a huge time for him. But they say this is a really big wave of Neptune and Aries activation during this period. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, but there's another eclipse. That March starts out with an eclipse on the 2nd or 3rd, depending on where you are. So we've got, and that eclipse, total lunar eclipse. So, it follows up on the from the February 17th solar, and there's always going to be a solar and a lunar right next to each other. But this one is total and has a lot to do with just what you were saying, a lot of the personal planets. So Mars and Venus, and to some extent, Mercury is going to be retrograde on that March 3rd eclipse.
Yeah.
Hunkered right in. Very intuitive, very psychic, very, this is part of the preparing for the new wavelengths. And that Mars and Venus are actually hanging out with the sun for a sort of extended period of time. All the personal planets are gathering around the energy that's happening, which makes more of a personal impact on us and more of a noticeable impact in our daily lives than would be otherwise.
You think a lot more people start to wake up during this period?
It's now or never. Yeah, I think that Uranus might be helpful too, but that all depends. So, Yeah. So, but there, the Neptune is not easy to deal with because it's like our expectations. It's where we imagine, like, or project something. It's where we have wishful thinking. It's where we have illusions,
Yep.
delusions, and confusion. So that's where we need the clarity. And that's where the Aries can come in. If you have like, if your windshield wipers are making your windshield dirty, there's going to be a big splash of water coming at you. So you can see. And that would be, I think that's particularly around the middle of March, that Neptune Saturn thing. Saturn is going to bust all your bubbles. It's going to take those sandcastles right off the beach.
Oh, that's exciting. That's exciting. What about for us Capricorns? That Saturn's our ruling planet. Will it affect us any different way or the same for us? We got the same to expect.
So Aries is in a 90-degree angle to Capricorn. So this is called a square. Yes. And they both have energy that likes to initiate, start something. But Capricorn does it in a like a planned way where there's a plan and you follow the plan and it until it doesn't work, and then you change the plan. It's like a business plan. And you go along and see how it's going. Aries is jumping in, wild idea, it's like, okay, I'm just gonna go for it. And it's like, Capricorn, come on, you don't have to follow every plan you ever had. It's getting in your way. It's holding you back. And then Capricorn goes, Aries, a little planning goes a long way so that you don't get into trouble before you know it. So that kind of thing.
Yeah. I love how you explain that as them talking back and forth to each other. You actually really know your stuff. It's fascinating how much you know.
I've been studying for like 50, almost 60 years now. So,
yeah, I mean, you're
my first. Yeah, I'm so lucky to have found it so early. Yeah,
it's amazing.
There was a big wave. Yeah.
Do you have your own channel, Kelley, that you do this stuff on, like astrology and stuff?
Substack, I think.
Oh, Substack?
I don't want to have to manage my own YouTube, so I'm on Substack is my main platform, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love
Substack.
If you want, when this video does air, I'll make sure your links are in there so people can check you out over there on Substack. And what else did you research for us last night that you wanted to touch on? And I would definitely like to hear a little more on the reincarnation thing. Your opinion with that, but touch on some of the stuff that you researched for us, because I know you went down, put a lot of work into that.
Well, I just, I do videos with Honey on every new and full moon these days, and they get put on my Substack and on her YouTube, and that's so fun. And I've been doing newsletters. I've been writing about those new and full moons for years now because I really like the lunar rhythm. New moons initiate, they start a cycle, and then there's the full moon blossoming of it, and then there's the incorporating of it into our lives. So one of the things I noticed, and I noticed this, for the 2025 moons too, but the lunations have just gotten so awesome. There's something about every one that is like, whoa, and so it's just amazing. Like, there's a new moon on April 17th, and that is conjunct Chiron, the wounded healer. The shamanic energy is like a peak of healing and a kind of almost like a healing crisis where something has to shift. Like, the energy isn't aligned. There's static on this channel, and we have to recalibrate that dial. And part of that particular April 17th new moon is about that clarity. That's a big theme. Clarity, integrity, kind of standing in your center and not being pushed off it, kind of thing. So so that's a fun thing. And then for at least the first several months, all of the outer planets that have just changed sign are in a really nice alignment. There's no squares or challenges or, stuff to work out. This week can be smooth sailing, well, not sailing. We won't have a water sign anymore, but smooth flying, with the air and the fire. It's all like a fairly cooperative, smooth trajectory. So it's a much smoother transformation that it could have been, at least with those 3 planets. And so I'm not sure what that all means, but we're going to be doing that manifestation thing also well into May. And then there is that shift of Uranus that it can really speed things up. It's like you're bicycling faster. You're maybe, I've been waiting for the hovercraft. I've been waiting for the flying cars, and I could have used one the other month when I crashed my car into a tree. I could have used a flying car right then. I thought I was in one. I must have thought I was in one because, I think I'm, I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I feel like I'm having trouble with 3D. I'm having trouble kind of staying in it. I want to be out of it. I want to be, and we're not there yet, but we're working to being there. We're smoothing the way, and Aries is a trailblazer where we can all be the trailblazer. And we can't hold on to things from the past much. That's why get rid of stuff. Like, get your go bag ready. If you had to leave at a moment's notice, what would you take with you? That's just an interesting exercise to consider.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. We got to let go of some of that stuff from the 3D. We definitely don't want to, keep bringing that back into manifestation, do we?
Nope.
Yeah. And we want to give up belief systems too that aren't going to forward us to where we want to go. Belief systems can be like heavy weights.
Yeah, it's a huge part of the programming, It's a huge part of the programming that people have trouble letting go of. And I respect everyone's belief, and if they're religious or whatever. I just ask my audience to always keep an open mind and, make your own decisions. Don't just, because we've all been, it wasn't our parents' fault, but they programmed us. Their parents programmed them. This programming thing happened with school. It's just been ingrained, especially in the 3D. And now we're kind of moving out of that, and people are starting to wake up. It's just a beautiful thing, but we got to let go of some of them old, belief systems, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of it. And this is coming up the year for it. So I really appreciate this conversation, and it's so fun to have a 3-way conversation.
Yeah, me too. It's been an honor to talk to you. I really enjoy listening to your podcast. I mean, you're just a wealth of knowledge, and you get into the numbers a little too, the mathematics of things.
Well, astrology is mathematics. It's the angles, it's the geometry. I'm not so much into numerology, but a little bit. Yeah, I had an 11/11 moment today.
Oh, did you? That's cool.
Oh yeah.
I love numbers. It's just how my brain works. And I got into astrology a little later in my life, but it's a huge part of it now because they all play a role with each other. And when you learn how to read them all, it's really powerful, And that's another programming. oh, if you look into numbers or astrology, it's divination. Well, I don't believe that, because even if you are religious and you think of it from the perspective that God created all this, then he created the numbers, he created the astrology. So how is it evil, anything he created? You know what I mean? I never understood that.
There's a lot of passages in the Bible about the stars, and they mark the heavens, and especially in the Psalms. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and there's a time to every purpose under heaven. And astrology shows us that timing and the kind of energy that we're dealing with. And anyway, we've talked for a whole hour now.
Yes, we have.
And I need to jump into a next thing.
Okay. Wow. This was great. I just want to bring up one thing really fast.
Yes,
think about divination, divine something, right? So how can they, we really need to break the words down more too, I feel like. But this was great, Kelley. Yes. Such a great conversation.
Yeah, I have that exact same thought, honey, about divinity and divining, So yeah, let's go with the divine.
Thank you so much, Kelley, for coming on. I really appreciate you, and hopefully we can do this again sometimes, because you're just amazing.
Yeah.
I thank you for everything, taking the time out to come talk with us today. And honey, thank you for bringing her on and making that connection. And guys out there watching, make sure you go follow her on Substack. Her links will be down in the description. Go check her out, because it's good to stay up to date on what's going on astrologically and what roles it plays in your life. So we're going to leave them with that today, unless you ladies got anything to say. You were good? Well, we love you guys.
Love you guys.
Thank you for being here with us.
Yeah. This song right here ain't just a vibe. It's a frequency. Tuned at 432 hertz to heal, to uplift, to activate. They changed the music, switched the code, took 432 and made it 440 mode. From nature's rhythm to the sound of war, now we vibrate low, depressed to the core. But this track's pure, tuned to divine design. Activating chakras, realign your mind. Root to crown, feel that inner fire. We break the system, elevate higher. Jesus said it, you'll do greater than me. Faith of a mustard seed moves mountains, my G. Junk DNA, nah, that's God's hidden tech. Flip the switch, heal your soul, reconnect. Step into your power, reclaim what's true. They don't want you knowing what your light can do. You can heal yourself, realign in an hour. When you step into your power, raise your vibe, break the chains they gave. You ain't a slave, you're a soul they crave. 396 root chakra, ground your fears. 4 and 17 sacral arch, those tears. Via 28, that love DNA. Solar plexus charged, shine all day. 639 heart, open and feel. 741, speak your truth and heal. 85-2, third eye wide awake. 963 crown, no more fake. This ain't new age fluff, this is an ancient fact. They flip the frequencies to hold us back. 432 is sacred, aligns with the earth. The same math that coded your soul at birth. 4 + 3 + 2 = 9. The divine gate, the number of endings, the reset state. 9 fruits of the spirit, 9 cycles of time. From Homer to Brahma, the signs all align. 9 is completion, the wisdom returns. Once you activate, the old self burns. It's your season now. Break the illusion, heal yourself. No more confusion. They don't want you knowing you got that spark, that you're the light in the system's dark. But here at stepintoyourpower.com, we're teaching the secrets, keeping you calm. Step into your power, reclaim what's true. They don't want you knowing what your light can do. You can heal yourself, realign the hour. Click the link below and step into your power. Raise your vibe, break the chains they gave. You ain't a slave, you're a soul they crave. Click the link below and join the movement at stepintoyourpower.com. This track was written and produced by Tommy Truthful and Papa Truthful, father and son, leading a vibration revolution. We're not just making music, we're rewiring the frequency of your soul. Remember, my brothers and sisters, reality is a code. I am the glitch that reveals itself.